we go. All right, take 14.
Hi Laura, we're going to talk more about our little house hunting adventure. So, we started out about a year ago, like we said, and we thought that this time the adventure would be easier because there's so much inventory right now and because we could actually take our time and we weren't rushed to buy a house in a weekend like we have been before. So we started out, and one of the first properties we saw was the Turlock property.
Turlock property.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful property, several acres, a vineyard on the property,
Yep.
An absolute fantastic garage. I mean, it was 3 cars plus on the first floor, and then on the second floor it had an office. I said, boom, I'm living right there. I don't even need to go to the house. Here's where I am, right here.
Yep.
Perfect.
And it was detached, so it was off in the back of the house. And on this particular property, we actually toured the property first because the property was so amazing. It had a vineyard, and it also had its own pasture, so I was like, okay, the animals, goats can go there, we can do the dairy farm thing there, we can make wine, make cheese, start to run our little bike touring and wine business right out of there. Then we went in the house.
Wait, go back. Did you say there was an awesome garage, like a 3+ car garage?
It was a pretty sweet garage, and I would actually be able to actually put a car in the garage, which
this would be my garage.
Right, in most houses I wouldn't be able to do that. But then we went in the house, which was billed as a 3-bedroom house, which the 3rd bedroom, normally you have to have a closet, don't you, in America, for it to be considered a bedroom. But anyway, it was this little room right off of the front door, and they billed that as a bedroom. The house itself, nicely done. However, deal breaker in this house?
No heat.
No heat.
And no AC to speak of. One wall unit for 2,500 square feet does not cut it.
Right. No, more for me, no heat. No heat. It gets down to 30 degrees here at nighttime. I can't live in a house with no heat. Deal breaker, had to walk away from that one. Another house we looked at was the Foothill House. Foothill House, billed online as an acre, so anything that had an acre, we were kind of curious about. So when we pulled up to that house, what did you think of that one?
Well, we talk about curb appeal. You want some more appeal than the curb itself.
Yeah,
this was like driving up on the set of Gunsmoke. I mean, there was nothing alive in sight. A tumbleweed is blowing past, and we're like, okay, yeah. Is this really a house for sale? We walk in, and actually we were pleasantly surprised. It was nicely done inside in terms of the updates.
Yeah. Inside they had done a nice job with their finishes and their choice of materials. However, the floor plan itself was just kind of, the hallway was really claustrophobic and the bedrooms were small. The kitchen and the bathroom were done nicely, like I said, with the finishes. Mm-hmm. But, yuck. And there really wasn't the potential to knock down any walls and change the floor plan from the way it was designed. So then we went out into the backyard, and we're not fans of swimming pools, but we're even less fans of...
Well, there was no swimming pool anymore. It was filled in, and covered with AstroTurf. So it could make for a great putting green, as long as you didn't putt to the left and look over to where Fred Sanford's son had their junkyard, to the left of the property. And then if you look to the right, in the back of the yard, then there was the barn.
The barn.
The barn sort of stood sideways.
On its last legs. So that one was kind of out. And then we saw the birdhouse. Yeah, the birdhouse. Scott met us there. And it was in a really nice area and had a 3-car garage.
Oh, we did.
Yeah,
did.
Garage, yeah. So the garage space was great. We opened the front door, and I'm pretty sensitive to smell, and I was just like, what is that? And he can't really smell very well, so we go inside, and immediately I'm like, I can't breathe in here, and I didn't want to gag, so I had to hold my nose the whole time.
Yeah, so I can't smell very well, like she pointed out, but I could still smell this. This was like going to the zoo in the winter, walking into the primate building, where all the apes and gorillas are staying inside during the winter. It would just knock you off your feet. It's like, how do people live here? It's amazing.
Yeah, and so it had room. It had room for our pool table, and it would have been a really cool contemporary house with a few updates and a new kitchen. And then we went down into this room. There was a mosh pit.
Mosh pit's great, yeah. I think it also substituted for the cat litter box without the litter.
And it was a cat scratching post, too.
And the urine stains on the carpet.
Right. And then this other bonus room had...
Bonus? Wow, excitement. What do we have?
Bonus room. Birds.
Exotic birds.
Birds.
Not one, not two, not three, but maybe
Six.
six exotic birds. Big ones, loud ones. One screeching like someone cut its head off or something.
Yeah, I immediately cut the tour of that house short. Scott and Brent actually finished it, and I waited for them out in front, so that was obviously not going to go anywhere.
And you said that had potential.
It did have potential. It does have potential. I think it's still for sale. Yes. But anyway, and then we saw the Uvis Reservoir house.
Yes.
Scott and I had seen this one. I had emailed him. We got to the point where we were just emailing back and forth, and I'd say, what do you think of this one? And he'd say, not for you guys, or he would email me a picture or something. I'd say, not for us. So this one he wrote back, and he said, 1970s cabin with a disco ball. And I was like, ooh, that sounds kind of cool. I want to see this one. So we drive up, and sure enough, it was a 1960s cabin, because it was built in the 60s and hadn't been touched since. Impeccably clean, though. It was so clean. And there was a disco ball upstairs, because the people that had owned it were ballroom dancers, and they put a ballroom in with a disco ball. So I said,
and a dance floor.
And a dance floor. It was very cool. So I said, Scott, we need to bring Brent to see this place. So we get Brent, another day, come back, drive up. It's an amazing view. He pops out of the car, and he says, this is our house.
This is it. I'm standing there. I'm overlooking the reservoir, which is full of water this time of the year. Blue sky, freestanding garage with a shop, with an office in the back. The office has AC and a wood-burning stove. Was done...
And a porthole.
And a porthole. A true porthole from a ship. You know, so you look out over the reservoir.
It's pretty cool.
Really, really sweet.
Right. So he was going to live there, and then we go into the house. And the kitchen was probably the size of a modest bathroom.
Or a closet.
Yeah. No amenities, no dishwasher, nothing like that. We're talking camping, but inside. The house was really cute.
The sink, remember, this was on a local well.
Yes.
So it was gravity-fed water pressure, so the water could drip out of the faucet.
Yeah, it was interesting, but that wasn't the deal breaker, because we can deal with the quirky, and we can update, and I can break down some walls and rearrange. That was okay, but I think the deal breaker was when we went out to check the well. Not a well. The water where they hold the water. The tarantulas started walking towards me, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not living with the tarantulas. And then there was a guy who had a shooting range at the back end of the property, and I was like, deal breaker for me.
Yeah, the property was so large, it apparently bordered West Virginia, and Billy Bob was back there with some kind of mohawk and a gun, and that, I think, was the deal breaker for her.
Yeah, that was the
more than the tarantula. The tarantula is a bit smaller than our dachshunds.
A little bit, but not much. And then we had given up. I mean, there had been some dark times, and there were times where I said, I can't do this anymore. It's too frustrating. It's too taxing. We've bid on a couple of houses. They didn't work out for whatever reasons. And I think it was just the universe saying to us, you're not supposed to move yet. You haven't found the house. And we decided we were going to take a break, but you can never really take a break because it's so easy to hop online and look at the things still. And when you have spare time, there I'd be looking at more of them. And so this one popped up a few weeks ago, and I emailed Scott, and I said, I really want to see this one. I think this might be a good one to see. And I liked where it was located, so we coordinated with Brent, and we went on the Monday. And he met us up there, and we met Scott, and we pulled up. Well, you drive up the street, and it's in a court, so it's in a dead end, and then you drive up the driveway even further. So there we go. We're private. It fulfills that requirement. We're not in a neighborhood where we can touch our neighbors, and it's on an acre. So we pull up to the garage, and the house is sideways on the lot, and you don't know if the door is in the front side or the back side. So we actually went to the back side front, which really should be the front side if you look at the way the house is. And
I'm all turned around now.
Yeah, so we finally found the front door, and we walk in the front door, and I'm next to Scott, and I look up at him, and I said, this is my house.
And I'm not leaving. That's what she said. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, and I hadn't gotten past the front door. So Brent goes, you might want to look at some of the other rooms. And I was like, okay. And I looked to the right, and the kitchen is down at the end, and it's got an aga cooked up. An aga cooked up. I was like, it has an aga. Oh my God, I'm staying.
I think it should be called a gaga, the way she reacted.
It has an aga cooked up. I was like, okay. And a Sub-Zero fridge. Okay, I don't need to do a kitchen renovation. Perfect.
I still don't understand the part about not turning the stove off. If you're
It's
not
okay.
using it, why do you not turn it off?
More details. The view is killer, and there are pretty much doors or exits out from pretty much every
Doors
room.
or exits? That's a new one. I didn't realize
doors
that.
or exits out. So he did convince me to look at a few of the other rooms. And there's a room for the pool table, a great big round room, which is fabulous with a fireplace and 2 sets of French doors, I think. I've only seen the house for a very short period of time. And then the master bedroom has a soaker tub. I mean, what more could you ask for? A view, a soaker tub, an Aga cooktop, a garage for him. I can't obviously go in there. I'm not even allowed to look at the garage once we finally do move in. And there you have it.
Yeah.
That was our search.
Great house.
And
Got
I think the universe,
Finally got the response I needed, and that was the reaction she had that I'm not leaving here. This is it. So
Yeah.
it's good.
We walked out of that house. I looked at Scott. I looked at Brent. I looked at Scott. I looked at Brent. And I said, this is my house. Do whatever you need to do to make this happen. And
We're trying to make it happen.
we're in the process. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.